having a problem with my extrusion. The last filament ran out in the middle of the print, and I'm assuming that the hot ball, which is right here, when it was extruding, it ended up not being able to actually feed the filament, and it was rolling and rolling and rolling, and the filament got stuck in the actual hot end itself. So, I'm going to disassemble the printer, and maybe clean out the hot end, and see if I can't get it to extrude properly. Sadly, I did just kind of break my 3D printer. It wasn't a really big break. It was just that the hot end wouldn't extrude, and so there was a jam in the top of the filament. And essentially, if I can't get pressure at the top of the filament down this side, this gets jammed up. So what I ended up doing was taking it apart, and right when I got to this part right here, end of this broke, and that's where the heater actually goes inside. So the heater's on this end, and that pretty much goes on this. But this snapped off when I went to go take it out. Pretty much actually the extruder end on this busted off. And I do have an extra extruder head, but this is an all metal extruder end, and I'd hate to have an upgraded metal extruder end go to a ceramic one and then go back up to a metal one. So online I just bought an E 3D print head, which, if I do this, there it is. So I just got this, the V6 hot end full kit with the injection molded fan housing and everything else I'm probably going to need. I even think I get a new thermistor and heater itself. I didn't want to break my 3D printer, but, you know, breaking it allows me to get an upgrade, so upgrading to this will be kind of fun. Back to what's going on here. Everything was, going really well. I got a few good prints out of it. The last print just, got the heater jammed and I broke it. I'll fix it soon, and I'll be right back to printing. So I finally got to the broken extruder head, and, well, there's your problem. So I allowed the printer to continue printing, even though that there was no filament left, and all I had to do was pretty much just get this extracted, and I would have been able to push a filament through. But because the filament couldn't get any pressure on it in the first place, I wasn't able to push this through. I've disassembled the printer, and this is the extruder assembly. Now, I took the hot end off to show you how this kind of goes through. But you see this grounded out spot on the filament about right there? That's the extruder pulling it in, and as the bolt inside tries to rotate, little hot bolt right there. So that right there is the hot bolt. And if I can hold my hand there for more than 2 seconds. There we go. So that one rotates and keeps the filament feeding from the stepper motor. So this stepper motor drives this larger gear, and the larger gear then feeds the hot bolt. So to load filament, you pretty much pull this spring back, you feed the filament through, you let it close on itself, and the stepper motor then feeds the filament in. So I just loaded it in, and so when it starts to extrude, it pushes the filament through, and this is essentially where the hot end goes. I have the hot end in a bag right now, broken, of course, and that comes through the extruder end, down the whole tube, and then finally meets the hot end. And the hot end heats this up, of course, and then as it's melting, it then gets extruded and put accurately down on the build platform. So what happened with mine is that I did not stop it in the middle of a job, which was running out of filament. So this is how much filament was left inside the printer. There's probably still some jammed in the hot end, but the only reason why this really got stuck is because when you put this in the hot bolt, and it's extruding, it's extruding, it's extruding. If you look on the other side, it's coming through, and This is still inside the extruder. You hear the spring click. You'll hear in a second. There it goes. So the filament's now released. It has no pressure on this anymore. And even though it's trying to extrude and trying to retract, it can't do anything. And so if I keep trying to feed this through and feed this through, no matter how much I try, this is still on the cold part of the hot end. And so this is what got stuck in the filament. And so when I tried to load more filament in there, this jam prevented it from going through because there wasn't enough pressure to push it forward. But then there was also nothing to grab it to retract it. So this just kind of got stuck in there. So I have to learn the hard way. I broke my hot end. I ran out of my filament. My printer is now completely disassembled. But it's destructive testing. That's what I'm known for. That's what I do, I guess. Because I do have a ceramic hot end while I'm waiting for my all-metal hot end from E3D to be shipped here, I might try to reassemble this with the ceramic one and see how that works out.